All right, let's take a look at another sign here. And before I start, let me read the whole sign the way it's supposed to be read. This would say 치과 9월 말 개원 임플란트 1만 개 이상 수술 경력. So if we break all this down, this first word here, 치과, this refers to the dentist. The dentist. And actually not the person, the dentist. If you actually wanted to refer to the person, the dentist, you'd have to say 치과 의사. You'd have to say 치과 의사. And that would actually refer to a dentistry doctor. And 의사 means doctor. But this 치과 denotes that, I mean, in English, we would say that this is a dentist or a dentist's office. But 치과, just in theory, it refers to the study of dentistry. And that's just how they sort of indicate that this is, again, I would refer to both the place and the person in English as the dentist. But in Korean, they just say 치과 to refer to sort of dentistry in general. But anyways, this is saying that this is a dentist office. After that, we see 9월. And I'll talk about this 말 in a second. Now, 구 means, obviously, this is the number 9, and the way you'd say this is 구, but 월 means month. And if you say 9월, you're specifically referring to the 9th month, and this is how Korean people indicate their months. They don't have a specific word to mean January or February or March. They just say the number, in the Chinese style number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 12, to refer to the 12 months and the 9th month. So this would be September. Or in other words, the 9th month. Now, 말 is put after some time period, and it can go after any month, but it can also go at the end of some time period. For example, let's say you were talking about a semester in school or something like that. You can put 말 at the end of some time period to indicate the end. The ending, and not actually the literal end of that. Not like it wouldn't be it wouldn't be September 31st at midnight. It would be the ending period. And what that would mean is, if I would say in Korean, if I said 9월 말, I imagine that might be the last few days of September. The opposite of this, if you wanted to refer to the first few days of a period, or the first little bit of a period, or the start of a period, so 말 is for the ending of a period. You could say 초 for the start of a period. And again, it doesn't have to be a month. For example, you could say 9월 초, and that refers to the beginning of September. But you could say, for example, as I said before, you could say 학기 초. And 학기 refers to a semester, like a semester in school. And you could say 학기 말. And 학기 초 would refer to the beginning of a school semester. And 학기 말 would refer to the end of a particular semester. Another word that's sort of similar to these, and this one is specifically referring to months. We couldn't use this for just random time periods, but you could also say 달. And so, for example, if you said 9월 달, what that would mean is some time, and that's what the 달 means, is some particular ambiguous time in September. And you could put any month here. And so, for example, if you said 2월 달, you're saying sort of sometime. 달 refers to sometime in this particular month. Anyway, so this sign says 9월 말, and he's saying, okay, so sometime at the end of September, and we don't know the specific date, but sometime at the end of September, this happened. And this is probably the most difficult word on the sign here. And this is a verb, and you could say 개원하다, but this is the noun form of a particular verb. And 개 in this is a Hanja character that refers to the start or the opening of something. And I'll try to draw that Hanja character for you here. It looks something like this. And I know, and some people are gonna get mad at me with my terrible Hanja here. It looks something like this. And this word 개 shows up in a few words where it's the first time that something is opening. And two words that I've seen this before are maybe, and I don't have any space down here, so I'll go up here. One that you might see is 개봉. And again, this is the same K, and this is referring to the opening of a movie. And so, for example, the opening night of a movie, or the opening time for a movie, or the first showing of a movie. Another thing that you could use K in is something, for example, 개통. And this is very, very similar to 개원. Just really what this particular thing and this particular thing and the one in this particular thing, it's saying this is the opening. K is referring to the opening of this movie, or the first night of the movie. And this is the opening of, and what 통 is referring to the opening of a new road, or a new subway subway line, or something like that. So it's the opening of a new movie, or the opening of a new road. And what 원 is referring to here is a hospital. Hospital. Just the syllable 원. So for example, this is a hospital. And you see this 원, and of course, in the most common word for hospital is 병원. 병원. And this is actually the same 원 that's in 병원. But there's also other words that you see this one that are also referring to hospitals. So for example, if you said 입원하다, 입원하다, or just 입원, or I'll just say 입원하다, this refers to checking into a hospital, or I guess another way to say it is being admitted to a hospital. And it means to enter. 원 refers to the hospital. So this is saying to enter a hospital, and this indicates that it's a verb. So it's the verb of entering a hospital, or I guess in English you could say that as being admitted to a hospital. Another time you would see this one is if you said 퇴원하다, 퇴원하다. And again, this is, I'll just get another color to signify that this one here, and this one here, and this one here, and this one here are all referring to a hospital. And if I have 개 here, which is referring to the opening of something, as I said, the opening of a movie, or the opening of some sort of road, or subway line. Well, what am I opening here? It's the opening, or the first day, or the grand opening of a hospital. So what I have, if I just read this first vertical line here, is I have, it's a dentist. And at the end of September, this dentist, again, it's talking about a hospital, but it's referring to this dentistry hospital. And again, in Canada or America, you might think of a hospital as a big building with lots of different departments in it. But in Korea, they refer to it as a hospital as just, usually it's almost clinics. And little clinics are referred to as hospitals. So you might have just one doctor in a little clinic, and you could refer to that as a hospital. And the same thing as a dentist office. You can refer to that as sort of a hospital, sort of a tooth hospital, you can refer to it as. So anyways, this is saying, this first vertical line is that you have the opening of a new dentist hospital. And again, we would just say it's the opening of a new dentist office or something like that. Now this smaller writing here, this word here is actually an English word, and if I pronounced it in Korean, it would say implant, but that's just implant. And I'm not a dentist, so I don't really know what an implant is, or I guess they're implanting teeth of some form, but I don't really know. I've never had that done on my teeth, so I don't really know what that means, even in English. But it's some sort of implant, and I guess if you needed this implant, you'd know what it means. But it's some sort of dental procedure, I presume. Now here, man, and I talk about this in another video. Man is a Korean number that refers to 10,000. 10,000, and in English, we don't have a word that actually means 10,000. We just say 1,000 and we say 10, and that the 10 in the 1,000. So we say 10 1,000s, and that's how we say 10,000. But in Korean, they actually have a word for 10,000, and that's man. Now, the 10,000 and 개 is a counter for things, so it's just really saying things, or you don't even really need this in here. It's sometimes you need to indicate that you're counting something. So in this case, you're counting actually this down here, but anyways, you're counting something. You don't really need this translation in English. And 이상 means more than. So really, you're just saying more than 10,000, and well, more than 10,000 what? Well, we haven't said that yet, but more than 10,000 of this thing, which I'll get to in a second. Now, one interesting thing here is you actually don't need this one here, and I'm actually a little bit surprised, and I asked a few Korean people why this one was here, and they said just maybe to make it more specific. But you actually wouldn't need this one here because man in it itself actually means 10,000, and by putting this one here, by saying ilman, it's basically like in English it's the equivalent of saying 1 10,000ths. And well, you don't need to say 1 10,000. You just say 10,000. So this number, this one here, doesn't necessarily need to be here, but it can be there. And without it, you could just say man ge isang. But with this one is here, you could say ilman ge isang. And again, there's no real difference in meaning, but this is just maybe to make it more specific that he has more than 10,000 of these. Now here, susul means surgery. Surgery. Now, it's a dentist, so what particular surgery is he going to be doing? Well, actually, it says what type of surgery he's doing. Apparently, he's done more than 10,000. He's done more than 10,000 of these implant surgeries. That's the surgery that he's talking about. And 경력 means experience. Experience. And not experiencing, going out and experience something for fun. 경력 specifically refers to work experience. And you typically see, 경력 if you're talking about resumes, if you see a job posting and there's particular requirements that the potential candidates need to have, well, you'd say, well, you must have 4 years of experience or 10 years of experience. In that case, you would use 경력. And this is another case, of course, where you can use it because, of course, in a way, this implants, this 10,000, more than 10,000 surgeries for implants that this person has done. Well, that's a form of work experience. So it's not just experience, but specifically work experience, not just any experience that you have. Well, that was fun. I hope you learned a lot.